So, good morning, my friends, and happy to be here with you again. And I've been on retreat for the last week, and I'm surprised to find myself sitting here with not feeling that there are many words for the moment. But feeling peaceful, feeling content, happy. So we can begin. And then I'll say something once we're settled a little bit. I'll offer a orientation, a question for the practice. So, to allow yourself to become quiet. To let your body become quiet. Or if quiet is not possible, let your body become quieter than it is. A quieting of the body. And a quieting of your eyes. Maybe if your eyes are open, let them gaze down, or in whatever direction the eyes are most relaxed. Soft eyes. And to maybe gently close your eyes. And to gently quiet your mind. A quieting. Maybe a reminder that now not much is needed, but to sit here quietly, peacefully. And if the breathing is a refuge for you, become aware of your breathing. Aware of the movements in your body as you breathe. Then quietly, slowly, comfortably take a deeper breath. Not too deep, but just so it's nice. Take a few deep breaths, and as you exhale, a settling in your body, a releasing into your body. And letting your breathing return to normal. And a quiet, gentle scanning of your body to find the places of holding and tension. That as you exhale, you can soften and quiet. As you exhale, maybe quieting the thinking mind. Maybe first by letting your thinking become slower. A bit more relaxed. And gently, if you're going to be thinking, think about your breathing, your body. Think about the here and now, your direct experience. Think about it in very simple manner, just thoughts of recognition. This is an in-breath. This is an itch. This is a sound. And might there be some even small hints of being peaceful, a peacefulness that is underneath or outside of whatever agitation there might be. A peace which is not opposed to anything, a peace which can hold everything. And then as we continue this meditation, you might ask yourself the following question. Maybe ask yourself this question 3 or 4 times in the time we have here. What is happening right now that, if you recognize, you can be more peaceful about? What needs to be recognized here and now so that you could be more peaceful about it? Maybe more accepting of it. Maybe more accepting of yourself. as you are. What needs to be recognized so it can be held in the context of peace, non-conflict? For sitting here, meditating, what needs to be accepted so you can sit more calmly, peacefully? So some degree of peace provides the atmosphere for whatever is happening. And then as we come to the end of this sitting, tapping into whatever calm or peace there might be here, might be around any agitation there is. And see if in your mind's eye you can gaze upon the world peacefully, kindly. Gaze upon the world with a vision, with an eyesight that can see the world peacefully, calmly. There are places in the world where there is peace, there is calmness. Gazing upon the world kindly. Love everyone. What might you learn from meditation practice in holding everything peacefully that might help you to love everyone? Or to love a vast expanse of human beings, looking upon them kindly. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. May all beings live in peaceful circumstances. May all beings have a peaceful heart. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. So, good morning everyone, and welcome to this Monday morning, and nice to be back. And thank you, Meg, for teaching last week. Appreciate it very much. So, what I thought of doing this week is to have emotions be the theme. And emotions are an important part of human life, sometimes for ourselves and sometimes for others. And to be aware and wise about emotions is one of the potentials of this mindfulness practice, because we can learn to be mindful of emotions and see them in new ways, in deeper ways, fuller ways. And so today I want to say some introductory words about this. And that is to start off that many of you know that I'm fond of the Latin roots for the word emotion. That in Latin the E means out and the motion means motion. And so that which moves out. And why I like this interpretation or this kind of etymological playing with the word is that I like to think of whatever emotions are, they're changing, they're in flux, they're moving. And if we leave them alone, they move out, they settle out, they don't stay for too long. And so understanding the conditions that keep the emotions going, that fuel them, that trigger them, that perpetuate them, is one of the things we can use the mindfulness practice to do. It seems that more literally, the word emotion comes not first from Latin, but from French, where it émouvoir, I think, which I think in French means more to be excited by something, to be certain kind of excitement, agitation, to be stirred up by something. And so, it has this a little bit interesting history, but even more interesting, I think, is that we take this word emotion. Many of us speaking English take this English word emotion for granted, or as if it's describes something real or essential and important, and certainly it does in certain ways. But I find it fascinating that the English, as an English word, the word emotion was not coined until around the early 1800s. So it's only been around for a couple of hundred years in the English language. And there's a book on emotions, a history of emotions, where the author says that, kind of maybe tongue-in-cheek a little bit, that until 1830, it wasn't until 1830 that the word emotion started to get currency, or it was actively adopted into popular speech in English, I guess in England. And so he says, the author of this book says that until 1830s or so, English-speaking people didn't have emotions. What they would refer to is they refer to having sentiments, or having, he calls it accidents of the soul, or passions. They had other words that they used for something that was in the domain, in the range of the world of emotions. But they had kind of a different overlap with different meanings. It doesn't mean exactly the same as what many people here in English think of as emotions. And then I've looked it up in dictionaries for different definitions of what this word emotion is. And most of the definitions I see don't really tell me much. They don't. Not. I don't feel like they're very helpful for providing a clear definition. And this is one of the wonderful things about this word emotion in English, is that there's no real agreement for what this word means. Even among psychologists, there's different definitions, different ideas of what it is. And so not having a clear, precise definition can also be seen as gives us some freedom around it, that we don't have to have some kind of fixed idea of what emotions are, fixed ideas of their role in our lives, fixed ideas of their impact on us personally, fixed ideas of where they're going and what's happening, what they mean, and all that. One of the things we can learn to do is to, whatever each of us individually refer to as an emotion, and we're allowed to have our own definition, and we're allowed to kind of use the word to apply to what we're experiencing, and as we see fit to use that word. But whatever we're using that word to refer to, the practice of mindfulness can help us to discover freedom in a relationship to what we're experiencing. And so to experience freedom in relationship to emotions. And this is, I'd like to propose, for some of us it's a radical idea, because it's not an idea that we need to do anything about emotions. We need to get rid of them, if the ones that are not, we don't like. Then we need to bring on the ones that we want. It isn't changing our emotions. To be free of free with our emotions is to change our way of relating to them, to change the way we hold them or the way we think about them. And this radical idea of discovering freedom in relationships to emotions, to not be defined by them, not be pushed around by them, not to assume that emotions have meaning, that the emotions have a purpose, emotions have tell us who we are, or who we're not, or all kinds of things. All those things might exist together with emotions, but to discover freedom in relationship to them, to discover a peacefulness that can hold whatever emotion we have, or to discover a wakefulness, to be awake to emotions, as opposed to be overwhelmed by them, to be awake to emotions rather than being pushed by them or defined by them, or to have emotions without assigning meaning to them. And so this ability then to give freedom to our emotions is a tremendous gift to ourselves. And the place where that gift, I think, is safest to give and the most productive is in meditation, whether it's sitting meditation or walking meditation. But in a context where what we're doing is not acting out the emotion, not acting because of the emotion, not criticizing the emotion, not needing to not express the emotion because maybe socially it's unacceptable in some way, whatever we're feeling. But in meditation, we look peaceful, the body's still, quiet. But internally, we can allow whatever the energies are, the feelings are, the sensations might be, the moods, the states of mind that might be associated with all this, and the motivations that are associated with some emotions, that all these can flow through us to be present for us with permission. We give permission to be there. We're not fighting emotions. We're not feeling ashamed because of having emotions. We're not justifying some emotions. We're not indulging in some emotions. And And we are just, there's an ability to be still, to be quiet, certain parts of us, and make space, create lots of space for whatever the emotional expression is at the time, and to be awake to it, to be at peace with it, to allow it, but don't, and we're not going to act on it. So if we're angry with someone, we want to punch them out, we don't in meditation because we're not going to move. And we just feel the energy that's there. If we have a strong desire for something, we don't act on the desire. We just sit there and let the desire be there in that space of freedom. Just allow it to be there without making a story or meaning or purpose out of it. If there's a wonderful emotional, something that really feels wonderful and delightful, and this is where some people now will protest, we don't indulge in it. We don't lean into it. We don't fuel it or encourage it. And some people say, why not? It's a good thing. It's true. There are times when it's good to lean into and allow ourselves to really feel a lot of good emotions. When we're trying to discover how to be free with emotions, we want to, the freedom of something has to be equally granted in all directions to what the good emotions are and the difficult emotions. And so certainly we're allowed to feel the good emotions, but we don't indulge in it. We don't lean into it or savor it or actively enjoy it. We just allow the enjoyment to be there because we want to be able to do the same with the difficult emotions. Allow them to be there. Maybe we don't lean into them always with those, but we don't we pull away, or we shut down, or we attack, or something. So to learn how to be free with our emotions is a huge gift from this mindfulness practice. And it begins by recognizing what our emotions are. And you're allowed to have it your way in this recognition things. Different cultures, different places in the world, different languages have a somewhat different relationship with what we might think of as emotions. And maybe different families, different, all kinds of things. So here in this practice, this freedom practice, you're allowed for it to be your way and your associations with it. With the idea that a clear mindfulness of your emotional life, clear recognition of what's there, can support you to hold it peacefully, to be aware of it without being pushed around by it. And so what I'd like to suggest that as we start this week is that you reflect some on your emotional life, and two things. One is you kind of reflect on what are the different emotions that move through you through the day. You might at the end of the day write down a list of all the emotions you can identify that you've had for that day, from the subtle to the big. And once you have that long list of all the emotions you see there, look and see what are there any patterns. Certain emotions appear more often or more predominant. And then reflect a little bit about what you've learned about emotions, what you have, what your culture, your family, your religion, your society, your language, your languages, if you speak different languages. What have you learned about this emotional life of yours, and how you identify it, and what you think they are? So that'll be the beginning of our reflections for this week, and I'm happy to be back, and happy to be sharing this with you. Thank you.